And welcome back to the Tech Informist. This is episode 52, recorded live on April Fool's Day, Wednesday, April Fool's Day. What other day is it today, JJ?
Kevin, it's hump day! It's
Good,
also
I
what
can actually hear you this time.
yeah, it's also what I do and don't like Wednesdays, and I had something in the pipeline to tell you guys, but now I hate Audacity and Hangouts. So that's what I don't like. What I do like is kittens on my home screen. That's pretty gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie. The Bing homepage today's got some pretty cute kittens, and come on,
who doesn't love kitten pictures?
yeah, I mean, really, who doesn't? And I mean, if you don't, then you're probably a psychopath. So you need to fake it so you can make it. But having said that, no, I'm really excited again to talk about all the news that came out over the last couple of days. So I hate April Fool's Day, but I do enjoy the banter back and forth. I like, Kevin, when you go to the mall and you do the whole, or you go out in public and you people watch, and then you
I
watch.
love people watching.
Yeah, and then you watch people watchers. So it's like the watchers are the watchers of the watchers, and it's kind of like this weird sort of experience. But so that's creepy. So let's go ahead and get on into the news of the week after you tell everybody to subscribe and buy the shirts so that everybody can get the shirts, and do your thing.
Right. Okay. So my name is Kevin Harvell. I'm your primary host. You can find me on Twitter at Kevin Harvell. You can find JJ Hammond on Twitter as well, good friend and co-host at JJ Hammond Music. As JJ mentioned, we would appreciate if you would subscribe, especially in iTunes or something that automatically downloads each episode, because each download helps. Whenever we go to approach potential sponsors, about helping advertise on the show and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But we also have our Teespring campaign for T-shirts. We have, many people that have already submitted an order to get a T-shirt or a long sleeve shirt, whichever you prefer. But we still need your help. We've got about 4 days and so many hours left in this campaign. So teespring.com. That's TEEspring.com/tech-informist. So TECH-INFORMIST, Tech Informist. So we need your help. Spread the word, please, so we can reach our limit, I guess you would say, or our threshold, so we can have a successful campaign, and everybody that wants a shirt can get their shirt. Mm-hmm. So we'll go ahead and lead off into our news stories. And JJ, I believe you are leading things off today with some pretty surprising news that just came out of nowhere yesterday from Microsoft.
Yeah, so many of you who are fans of this show and fans of me, frankly, know that I'm a huge fan of everything Microsoft, and I'm really looking forward to everything that's going to be coming out with Windows 10, flagship devices, and all the stuff that Microsoft announced back in January with the HoloLens, and what we're going to be hearing from Build 2015. It's going to be very exciting at the end of April. I don't want to wait that long. I want it to be now. But Microsoft just announced the Surface 3. These stories come to us via guess what, Windows Central, because we're big fans of the site. They just do a wonderful job. They announced a new 10.8-inch tablet that runs Windows 8.1. Now, many of you who knew of what or heard of Windows RT, which is the operating system that was on the Surface Pro, the Surface, and the Surface 2 is no longer on the Surface line. So this is Microsoft officially canceling Windows RT as a platform, because that's what the platform was of choice for those two devices, because of it being lightweight. It could run on low-end hardware, that sort of thing, but the marketplace it just didn't take off, and there was a lot of reasons why that happened, but I'm not going to get into that. Pre-orders begin yesterday, and the tablet will go on sale May 5th and be sold in 26 markets by May 7th. Now, that's a really good number. That's a lot of markets, and that should give developers this certain sense of, especially with Windows 10 coming out, and they explicitly put that inside of the advertising material, that you're going to be able to run full Windows on this machine. Now let's get down to the brass tacks of this stuff. Is what does this device have on it? So the base model is 2 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of onboard storage for $499. Then you get the 4 gigabytes of RAM with 128 gigabytes of internal storage for $599. That's US dollars. You could also get a model, so it's 2 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of internal storage with LTE support from a wireless carrier like AT&T or Verizon for $599, and then 4 gigabyte of RAM, 128 gigabyte of internal storage with LTE support for $699. Now, it's important to note that this does have quad core. Now,
Right,
also,
which you've been a strong proponent for quite a while of walking on the Surface line.
yeah, and it's 2015. I was expecting now I want an octa-core. Nothing's ever good enough.
Never good enough.
Never good enough. That's weird. That's a weird thing that I have. I'm a little psychotic that way. Maybe not a little, maybe a lot. But anyway, so the inside is the Atom X7 processor running at 1.6 gigahertz. The tablet is 8.7 millimeters thick. Whoa, just 1.37 pounds. It also has an 8 megapixel rear camera. Now, if this 8 megapixel rear camera is anything like what we saw in maybe the Nokia 920, then whoa, it's going to take some awesome pictures. Now, I'm not an advocate.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I'm not an advocate for that, but whatever. It has a 3.5 megapixel front-facing camera, which is totally awesome. That's actually really good. The battery life is supposed to last up to all day, but last up to 10 hours on heavy use. The other really important feature here that I cannot highlight enough is Microsoft has ditched this idea of having a proprietary charger. How awesome is this? Now, Microsoft used to use a magnetic proprietary charger for its Surface line. Let's see, I want to say that the original Surface charger was different from, in some ways, the Surface Pro, the first gen and second gen. Now, you could use a Pro charger on a Surface tablet, so there was 2 different types. You had the Surface Windows RT tablets, and then you had the Surface Pro line. You could use the chargers on those different, but you couldn't exchange the Surface Pro to the Surface regular. And they're ditching with all that stuff and just like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that because that's stupid. And you know what? Thank God. Because now it's just a normal micro USB port charger. That is huge. The other thing.
But real quick, are you surprised they didn't go with the USB-C port for charging and all this?
No, I'm not, because I have and I know that for people who are going to get this, their kids, their family members, for the most part, are going to have a bunch of wires that.
You got all these chargers laying around. So.
Yeah, you got all these chargers laying around, and look, I like giving Apple crap when it's due, and this is where I feel like this is a differentiator, because Apple really frustrated me, and I think a lot of people, and they're going to continue to do that going forward, because they make money off of the hardware. So when they change those things, they say it's for a particular reason in the future and whatever, which is fine, but reality, that means I have to go out and buy extra stuff to make this thing work, right? And that's not just exclusive to Apple. That's the same thing with the Surface line. And now that looks to be changing. Thank you. I really appreciate that, because we're not all made of money here, And here's why this is also important, is that means that it's just one more non-inconvenience for people that want to buy this thing, right? So, because if you stack obstacles in front of somebody, that's frustration levels, and the more barriers that are knocked down, the better. Okay, so I'm ready to move on from this thing. The next deal that that's really important about this story is the Surface 3 has 3 different kickstand positions. Okay, so the Surface Pro 3 has a flexible kickstand design, which means that it has I can't remember the exact degree in which this thing can, go out to. But I know that the kickstand itself can be adjusted to your liking instead of a set amount of positions that you can put the kickstand in. So this is going to make some people go, that's interesting. But the reason why they did this was for cost. It actually costs more for that other design because it's a more it's manufactured differently. Okay, so that's a little bit of a difference. Some of you will also note that the Surface 3, the screen size is smaller than what you're used to in the Surface Pro 3. So that's going to be a little weird. Also, it looks like in these pictures, now I don't have one sitting in front of me right now, but it looks like from the pictures, people with OCD are going to freak out. And I was telling Kevin this before the show started, was on the left side of the type cover, you have tab, cap, locks, shift, and control, and there's this there's this slim little margin before it's the end of the type cover. Then on the right side, you've got your backspace, enter, shift, control, that sort of thing on the right side, and it's a little thicker on the right than it is on the left. That's going to bother some people. I know that's just a little like first world problem thing, but it's just just to help you out, because I covet everything that comes out like that's Surface related. So I'm looking at this thing. Also, it's a free upgrade from Windows 8.1 update to Windows 10 when it finally launches. Also, this isn't RT, which means that you could run full desktop applications on it. Now, you're not going to be doing a whole lot of processing power, especially in the 2 gigabytes of RAM thing, right? You're just not going to. And if you do, it's going to be a little wonky of an experience. But you got to look at this too. Office 365 Personal, a free year one subscription comes with this thing. That's a $69.99 value, and that comes with 1 terabyte of OneDrive storage. Now, the other thing, it does have a 3:2 aspect ratio, so it's going to be nicer. It's going to feel a little nicer in the hand. Also, some of you from the design aesthetics are going to look at this thing and see the back of it doesn't say Surface. And it doesn't have the Windows symbol on it. It has the Microsoft symbol on it. How interesting is that, Kevin? So
yeah, that's a little different.
So I think this, again, goes back to that idea of one marketing department that is, this one
unification.
The unification. Ooh, that sounded like Star Trek-y right there. Unification. So the other thing, too, here to note is that the device itself, at the price points that I was talking about, do not come with a type cover or pin. Those two things are separate, and the pin costs $50, and I want to say the type cover costs like $100. I could be wrong on that. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure that is correct. Okay.
It's like 100 or 120, something like that.
Okay, yeah, I'll double check because I have a link here, and I'm sure that I'll scroll down. The other thing, too, here, I just want to tell everybody, for Verizon, Wi-Fi plus 4G LTE, it looks like that the price of this thing, let's see if we can get a price somewhere. Oh, wait, I already told you the price. I'm sorry. What I was meant to do with this is Verizon and T-Mobile are selling this right now. I don't see AT&T up here, so if that shows up later, which I wouldn't see why it wouldn't, but if it does, then I'll definitely let you know. But this is really cool, right?
Type covers 129.
129. All right, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
The thing that I really like here is, with the new OneNote stylus pen, you can get it in 3 different colors: a blue, a red, and a black. I really
or the normal. Yeah. Right. Or the normal gray, right? All of those colors are cool. I mean, they are,
Yeah. Since I've got a red type cover, though, I want to get a red pen now. So, I mean, that's another, kind of Microsoft's doing a little Apple here. It's like, hey,
I know.
Now you want this cool little $50 pen that'll match your type cover? Well, you got them now.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. You can get a okay. So we talked about the type cover. We talked about the pin. They're separate purchases. Let's also talk about the docking station. I am using a docking station for my Surface Pro 2 right now. I friggin' love this thing, man. It broadcasts to two different screens. Okay, so I'm looking at and I don't advocate this on every machine. And in fact, the Surface Pro 3 doesn't do a good job of power management and applications that are open. But the Surface Pro 2, because of the way that it's built and designed with a fan and all that other kind of stuff, I'm able to really push a lot of applications and run a lot of really cool stuff. And blah, 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 blah. So there is a docking station for the Surface 3. Now, this is the first time a docking station has come out for the regular Surface line. And this is interesting to me, Kevin, because it's not like a proprietary thing necessarily, and I could see because of the charger, and I could see this going a long way for other Surface, so like Surface 4 when it may come out, or Surface 5 or whatever. So you could see this as having a longevity thing instead of it being locked down like I am right now with my Surface Pro 2. Docking station. So that was the other piece of news. So Kevin, do you have anything that you want to add to this, or it looks like the chat room's kind of going a little crazy here. So is there anything you want to add to this Surface 3 story that I may have missed?
Well, I don't know so much about adding to it, but I just think it is really cool now that we finally have a Surface that has LTE in it. That to me is huge, and that leads me to believe that the next Surface Pro line will also have this technology built in as well. It's like, okay, we can get this working on the small. Now we can definitely push it into the main Surface Pro line. I guess now you want to say the flagship line, because you now have your quote unquote lower end Surface line.
Yeah, well, the Pro line. Right, the Pro line, because you've got Windows 8.1, and then you got Windows 8.1 Pro. You have the Surface, and then you have now the Surface Pro. So I mean, from a marketing perspective, it's pretty easy now, as opposed to the way it was before, which is like Surface RT, Surface 2, Windows RT. Windows 8.1 RT, it's just like it was just this whole thing. The other thing that I want to note real quick, because I almost missed this, is it does. So if you want to buy an iPad, don't buy this instead, because not only does it have micro USB charging, which is freaking awesome, but it also has an SD card slot. So if you go with the low-end model, you can still bump that, ridiculous SD storage that we have now on up to. So, even though Apple and Android is eating Microsoft's, plate, I still think that this is an amazing device, and I think that students and people are once they have this device, they're going to hate Windows 8, because everyone hates Windows 8. That's just the truth. Especially if you're coming from Android and iOS, because those systems are made for mobile, where Windows 8 is a jarring experience for a lot of people who don't and who haven't had this before. Okay, so the reason why I said what I just said is when this thing starts rocking Windows 10, I think it's going to get a lot of people to convert, man. I really do. Like, I think that it's going to bring a lot of people back.
Yeah, because I mean, the Pro line as it is, I mean, I love my Surface Pro 3. I do wish it was the 8 gig of RAM version, but with this being able to get upwards of approximately 10 hours of battery life on it, 4 gig of RAM, LTE data, or LTE support for $700 without before you factor in the type cover and the stylus. That's huge. That is going to be a great device for students getting ready to go back to school. I mean, you don't need the full-fledged processing power of the Pro line,
right?
When you can just have it do everything you need and save that much money.
Yeah, it's true. It's truly a laptop replacement. I really believe that. I mean, they market it that way, and I think that it is. I mean, once you have Spartan and the pen, and you're able to see what that feels like to take notes on your, I gotta say, guys. I mean, students and business people, they like taking notes, and when you show them OneNote and how just awesome it is to use that stuff. And Daryl, thank you, by the way, sharing that musical application with me. That's coming out, or that is out rather. It's for $69.99. Gorgeous stuff, man. When people see that, I think that's really just gonna it's gonna take it back a little bit for Microsoft, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited, and I cannot wait to get my hands on checking one of these out. Maybe tomorrow I might, because I've been hearing that there's some demo units already in certain Microsoft stores, so I might have to go take a look, and I'll run by our store and see, or contact one of our people to see what's going on there.
Yeah, so if any of you care about what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to wait for the new Surface Pro 4 when it drops, because I feel like I have a monster of a machine right now, the Surface Pro 2, and it's actually a little bit of a downgrade for me to go to a Surface Pro 3, so to speak, and that's from a productivity standpoint, like how many and the heat sensors, and any of you who've watched the Surface Geeks, I want to say Dave talked about this,
McCabe.
and Dave McCabe, he talked about this. You hate that I don't say people's full names, don't you?
Yeah, I do sometimes. Well, give him credit, man. Hey.
But I couldn't remember his last name. It's nothing against him. It's just I don't remember people's names in general. What's your name
Who
again?
am I?
Yeah. I literally almost forgot your last name, and we've been friends for a long time. So he was talking about on one of his shows, because it's the Surface Geek, so obviously they invest a little bit of time into that whole thing. He talks about how when he was doing his shows, running all the different applications, and how it would shut down because of heat, on the Surface Pro 3 as opposed to the Surface Pro 2. So I digress. That's just my thoughts on this thing. But I will advocate that if you're not wanting like a real huge production thing, the Surface Pro 3 or even the Surface 3 is totally a perfect device for anybody. And I couldn't be happier about the fact that this micro USB thing, I know it's a little thing, but it's a big deal to me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, everything about this looks really good, and I'm really curious to see how real life use cases will be. Once this gets in reviewers' hands, and they can really put it through its paces, just to see how well it does actually perform. And I think it's going to be a solid device seller. I mean, the Pro 3 is already a huge seller for Microsoft as it is. So this new Surface 3, man, good job, job, Microsoft.
I'm happy with it, and I'm happy about the price. A lot of people were mad, but I'm still happy with it.
Yeah, I think overall, it's not bad. I mean, considering you look at the prices of iPads, and what you get and what you don't get, so this is still getting a lot more bang for the buck with this.
Also, think about this, Kevin. If you had right now, if somebody said, "All right, here's the new MacBook with just the one USB deal." And the USB-C, which nobody has, by the way, and you stack what is in that against what's in this new Surface 3, I think you would be hard-pressed not to go with the Surface 3. I really do. And I think that decision is going to be easy for students and other people like that, too.
Yeah. I mean, now, again, it just goes back to, are you an Apple person or are you a Microsoft person?
Right.
Because, I mean, it's just going to depend on which ecosystem you're most invested in with this. So very exciting. Well done. Moving on. So
can you still hear me?
I can still hear you, sir.
Thank you. All right, go ahead.
So WhatsApp, the really popular messaging app, which I don't use. JJ, I don't think you use either, do you?
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, secrets. So anyway,
I gotta have my secret lives, Kevin.
Okay, yeah, you're a secret person,
Yeah, for my drag and then for my strip club stuff,
Oh, there you go.
I knew I'd get you on that one.
You got me there. So there's been an update to WhatsApp. Now, looking at the Android version here, where now you will be able to call users in your contact list using the WhatsApp application.
Hmm.
And this is version 2.1, 2.5, which is available now on the Play Store. Brings a revamped user interface sporting 3 tabs: calls, chats, and contacts. Initiating a voice call is as easy as tapping the dialer icon that is available in the chat, or heading to the calls tab and selecting a contact you wish to call. Both parties will need to be on this latest version of the app to work, so you have to make sure that the person you're wanting to contact has updated their apps, because some people, believe it or not, don't update their applications. I know when my dad comes over and he's like, "Can you look at my phone? Something's not working right." And I always look. I'm like, "Oh my God, you got like 7 apps that need updated and stuff like that." But it's part of life. I still admire the fact that he has a smartphone in the first place. So
Sure.
that he even has one is amazing to me. So
Hmm.
the update's in the process of rolling out. So if you do not see it yet, just give it time. Again, I don't really use WhatsApp, so I don't have nothing to update on this. But for users that have the voice calling option enabled, does anybody, chat room, anybody? I really love feedback on this if you guys use WhatsApp. So anybody that's listening to this, after the
Yeah.
fact, let us know. Let us know what you think about WhatsApp and why you like to use WhatsApp.
Yeah, where'd Leanne go? We need to get her back in here. What's going on? She
Yeah.
needs to take off time from work and get back in the chat room. I liked her banter. WhatsApp is kind of a big deal because it's used on a majority of not only Windows devices, but it's seen as this really interesting play on messaging, VoIP, all these different kinds of things, and I think it kind of represents to me like this strange idea of diversifying how you communicate with others. I feel like I'm tapped out. I really do, guys. Like I feel like I'm really tapped out when it comes to because I was joking around with Kevin earlier, but seriously, I I I don't use WhatsApp. In fact, I think I maybe used it once. Um, and I use Facebook. We got Messenger, we got Skype, we've got Hangouts, we've got regular SMS. Whether I feel like I'm on a rotary telephone when I'm using the regular SMS. So I don't know. This is a weird thought for me. It's like I feel like I'm
Right.
tapped out when it comes to some of this stuff, and I feel like people grow up with certain things. Even BlackBerry Messenger. I mean, BlackBerry was super stoked that they had as many people download their application on their operating system, but I don't. I mean, that's kind of like when you're in your own little bubbles. You know what I'm saying? It's not like mass, like it's not something that people use on purpose. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
So
BlackBerry Messengers had millions and millions of downloads, but how many people are actively using that as the regular messaging service? That's a whole other story than, oh yeah, we've had 7 million downloads of BlackBerry Messenger on iOS and Android, but how many people are actually using it as their
right.
main
It's like,
application?
yo, dude, I have this on here because somebody somewhere, I think
Yeah.
that's what that's all about. But you ready to move into the next story?
Yes, sir. Talk about Charter.
So we're big fans of Charter here. In fact, I was pulling 204 down this morning, and I think I still am. So I mean, come on,
Yeah, that sounds
Uh,
crazy. You'll have to do another speed test because something didn't sound
whatever,
right about it.
whatever,
We've
whatever.
got the same plan, man.
Uh-huh. They love me more than they do you.
Apparently they do.
This story comes to us via The Verge. As Comcast continues its attempt to purchase Time Warner Cable and another deal announced that it would, shrink the cable industry even further, Charter Communications, the fourth largest cable provider in the U.S., has agreed to purchase competitor Bright House Networks for $10.4 billion in cash and stock. Bright House is the sixth largest U.S. provider. But Charter says the merged company would become the second biggest cable operator by customer volume if the deal is successfully closed. Charter had once signaled an interest in scooping up Time Warner Cable before Comcast came in with its own offer, which federal regulators are continuing to review. Now, the reason why this is a big deal for me and kind of a big deal for everybody is I think that choice is really important in the marketplace, and I think that when we give too much power to all these companies, they continue to do all the wonky stuff that comes with having too much power, because not all of us live in a world where we have an uncle that says, with all great power comes great responsibility, that type of thing. And there's a lot of people that are drunk with power. I mean, frankly, it's sickening. So I like this idea of Charter moving up in the ranks just because I feel like they're an underdog a little bit, and I also really like their service. So that means they're going to stick around for a little while, and that they have this so far they haven't messed me over. So insofar as they don't have me on a contract and they do these contractless things, and I like that. They kind of went out of their way to bring service to my house. I like that too. So I think that for the most part, I see these people who are hired by or Charter, and for the most part, they're people in my community, they're people in our communities, and I don't have to go overseas for a lot of customer service and stuff, and I appreciate that. So hopefully that stays the same. But Kevin, what do you have to say about this story or things that may be attached to it?
I wish they would have taken that 10.4 billion in cash and stock and bumped up their upload speeds.
Or did a match, dude. Could you imagine that? Like
Yeah,
a
if they
match
did
with my
like Verizon
204,
Fios. Yeah.
204 down and
Match
204
it.
up.
Do a
That would
match,
be
man.
that'd be crazy. But then at that point, I would be like, streaming. Or I would become my own service of some kind. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
The things we can do, because yesterday when I sent you that picture of the upload speeds at the office, kind of the workspace that I'm working out of now in St. Louis at CIC. They have a co-working space now, the Center for Emerging Technologies. Just 130, 140 up and down. I'm like, well, I know where I'm going to be getting my videos uploaded to my cloud storage at now. Like, no more overnight uploads for me.
All right, so tell us about Meerkat's popularity.
Right. So on last episode, we did some live streaming with the new Periscope and Meerkat apps, but The Verge has got a story out there now about here's why Meerkat's popularity is suddenly plunging. And I did read a little bit about this the other day about how once Twitter launched Periscope on the iTunes App Store or Apple App Store, that it was like the number one, it just shot right to the top. Everybody was running to download Periscope, and Meerkat just kind of like started falling and falling. And so after bursting onto the scene through the trend spotting site Product Hunt and winning the hearts and minds of the crowd gathered at South by Southwest, Meerkat announced $14 million in funding from big names in Silicon Valley and Hollywood. That same day, Meerkat's popularity in App Store peaked, then started to fall off a cliff, plunging out of the top 500 before stabilizing this morning. Now, this article from The Verge is actually from today, so they ask, what happened? So Meerkat's popularity is plunging because its hype got ahead of its actual traction, and we're now seeing a correction as the press dies down. South by Southwest is pretty much over. So, looking at various things, with this iPhone and having notifications and everything for Periscope, I get a notification from every time somebody that I follow on Twitter is doing, a Periscope live stream. So I get a notification, so I can choose to watch it, choose to ignore it, whichever. So I liked Meerkat. And I still actually do like it because it has an actual button that you can easily hit to end the stream instead of having to like swipe down and tap on something in Periscope. That's the one big complaint I have about Periscope.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Tweets per day. Now this is from February 27th through March 29th. These little statistics, they show between Meerkat and Periscope. On like March 27th, you had about 22,000 tweets per day using the hashtag Meerkat, but the hashtag Periscope was pushing nearly 50,000 on that same day. So, you've got the push behind with Twitter being the people with Periscope. I think that is a big thing. Now, Meerkat is going to need to get their service out to Android users next, and they have to, get it there first before Periscope. But even then, I don't know if that's going to make too much of a difference as it is. But oftentimes people like to root for the underdog. So maybe Meerkat is still going to be able to, keep a good following and a good use case scenario with users.
It's Talk about some politics. I'm sure there's behind the scenes politics that went into all that.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to read a lot more about this, I mean, The Verge did a fabulous. I mean, it's a very nice long article about this as well. So we'll link to that in the show notes as well. For those of you that have used both services, Meerkat and Periscope, curious to know what it is that you guys prefer. You know, I gave my reasons why I like Periscope versus Meerkat.
Mm-hmm.
I also like Meerkat for what it can do. So I think there's a place for both, but which one will be the most used, and which one it is that you guys like.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I've yet to be a part of the whole Periscope thing.
Yeah, again, iPhone world, man.
Yeah, it's an
Or
Apple
iOS.
world.
Yeah.
It's an Apple world. We just try to exist in. Okay, so Facebook is still a thing, Kevin.
That's what I've heard.
Tyrese Gibson is taking advantage of it. So, you know, I actually followed him before. God, you're gonna hate me, but before the other guy died, I was a huge fan of him.
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker, thank you. And you know, I really was a big fan of him. In fact, every time I see a commercial, my wife is like, I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say you're sorry that he's dead. I've heard you say that a million times, and I'm just like, you know, I'm really sorry that he's dead. You know, that really. She's like, God. Anyway, so Facebook. You know, so The Verge says, please don't share Tyrese Gibson's Facebook posts. That's interesting because how many more people do you think that he's going to get follows because they said that? But, you know, whatever. The reason why I bring this up is, so Michelle Phan, I think her name is, she outgrew YouTube. There's a lot of different you know, entertainers that are, you know, kind of amassing these huge stats. You know, you know, in popularity, people following them, people engage in the shows. There's, you know, the Talking Dead has this huge follow. I had no idea how big a show that talked about the show that comes on before it. And that show is about zombies, and I had no idea that was going to be as popular as it is. But to give some perspective, this guy, Tyrese Gibson, has 22.7 million followers. Tom Cruise only has 8.7 million, but he's a little insane. LeBron James, 21.4 million. Drake, 33.2. Beyonce, 62 million. And Taylor Swift has 70.4 million followers. That one girl that I mentioned earlier has 1 billion YouTube plays. Kevin, could you imagine if people saw your face 1 billion times?
That's pretty crazy. I mean, and she does what, makeup?
Yes. Yeah. Like
makeup tutorials and stuff like that.
Yeah, L'Oreal or whatever. I'm not a chick. I don't know.
L'Oreal.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
That's scary. You knew that. Okay, so there's no reason to believe that Gibson couldn't have success on Facebook while giving proper attribution. So here's the thing. So there's a bunch of stuff that he posts out that he gets money from, presumably, but it's not his content. And I think this plays into a bigger deal, a story that it's not in here, but that I'll just kind of brush past real quick. Nintendo also came down on this girl who was doing like kind of like a Twitch thing on her YouTube channel that she had like a ridiculous amount of followers on, and they made her take down her stuff or pay back the money that she got from YouTube and advertisement stuff because she was playing Nintendo stuff. And then the Mario story that we had on Monday, the guy who made that game that you could play in the browser had to take it down because Nintendo, dude, they're like a dictator. Like, they come down hard on people who have anything to do with their products. They're like, pay the piper right now. I mean, they make you take down stuff. So, Kevin, what's your idea on this? On this sharing stuff on Facebook or YouTube or any of this other kind of stuff? Because what we do here is we share other people's stories and even our own experiences. So I don't think that it's necessarily fair for other companies to take that down, because I see it as like people promoting. It's like it's a network. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't really think it's too big of an issue of sharing things, and I don't know. It's just very interesting sometimes how people, you might get, lambasted or whatever, or get critiqued for sharing other people's stuff. But I mean, in the end, don't we want our thoughts and opinions to be shared to other people?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And I mean, George Takei, I've heard numerous people that actually have connected with him on Facebook, and I mean, he's got, like you
Oh
said,
yeah,
all these millions of people,
yeah,
quote unquote friends, on Facebook, and I've heard, he puts out a whole bunch of great content and seems to be a really good guy. But the whole Twitter following of, millions of people following, it's like that's just hard to believe that if you tweet out one thing, you even if you get half the people, 3.5 million people, that would be insane.
yeah.
Just knowing that, oh yeah, I ate toast this morning. Oh my God, they ate toast today. Just it's just
uh,
so funny to see how all this works.
yeah. One of these shows, I'm going to go on a rant about how
The rant episode.
restrictions on things such as the internet and freedom of speech and all that kind of jazz really ticks me off. But I don't want to do that. So Kevin, tell me about another way I can lose money.
Okay, yeah. So Amazon, again, man, they're just not sitting still with a lot of things. We talked about their new cloud storage recently as well. So, and their 1 hour and 2 hour shipping delivery services. So now they're working on something called Dash Replenishment Service. Now, what this Dash Replenishment Service is, this is being taken directly from Amazon's website. The Dash Replenishment Service enables connected devices to order physical goods from Amazon when supplies are running low. For example, a coffee maker that orders more coffee beans. By using DRS, device makers are able to leverage Amazon's authentication and payment systems, customer service, and fulfillment network, giving their customers access to Amazon's low prices, great selection, and reliable delivery. And you can request more information off the Amazon.com link to the Dash Replenishment Service. It gives a lot of more information, kind of devices. We're talking like washers, dryers, water filtration systems like Brita, Quirky, this coffee making, coffee maker. Quirky is launching Poppy, a new line of smart appliances, including artisanal. That's probably
Artisanal.
Yeah, that's probably. I know I'm way off there. So, pour over coffee machine, a baby formula maker, and a pet food dispenser. Each appliance will measure remaining consumable supplies and place an order using DRS before running out. Printers use, because we always know inkjet printers run out of ink very quickly if you're doing a lot of printing.
Right.
And you don't always realize that you ran out of ink until you're in the middle of a print project. So this would actually be one of the best use case scenarios here that, my printer's detected I'm running low of ink, so it automatically orders more ink so that I have it when the print, when the ink does run out, so I don't have to be without a printer for a while. So it's pretty interesting stuff. You can get this little dash button as well. Not sure if the dash button is free or not, so you'll get a little bit more information with this in the future as well. But I think this is really, really interesting. I mean, what are your thoughts on the Internet of Things and device connectivity and things automatically being ordered for you?
I agree with Daryl. I would like to
Yeah.
avoid those awkward moments when you
Right.
realize that you weren't.
Hey,
fully
I need more
prepared.
Charmin.
Yeah, I know, right? So he was talking about toilet paper, but the thought here, though, and I'm glad you brought this up, Kevin, because it's this interesting conversation about how we consume goods, how we can be more efficient. I can't tell you how much money I waste in going to different stores trying to find the things that I need, right? And I can't wait for a service that's provided to me where they deliver that stuff to my residence. I think that those kinds of things can be a more efficient way to run a society, and can help on waste, right? So supermarkets all the time throw away food that is expired but isn't bad. Does that make sense? So
Right. Just because it has an expiration date on it does not mean that
yeah,
it's bad. You still got a little bit of time. That's just like a
yeah,
generalized sell-by date.
yeah, and I think that my bigger point here is that we have a lot of people that are hungry in this society. I think that there's a way to have metrics, because data is just should be just one part of the answer, and I think that this is another part. So the reason why I said what I said just a second ago was, if I could find a way to make my habits more calculable, I could find out when I'm running out of said thing, and my quality of life can be increased by having. I don't know if the button is the way to do it, like pressing a button and then it be delivered to my house, or maybe because I feel like I may be inundated with a whole bunch of laundry detergent that I accidentally hit the button a couple of times if it's in the wrong spot, but. I think that a way to order that stuff and have it sent to me would be really cool, and I think Amazon's the company to do it. I think that if there's a company that can successfully pull something like this off, I think it's them. I don't like how they're going after Angie's List. It's a story that's not in our news rundown, but Amazon is kind of ventured into their territory with hiring roofers, plumbers, those types of electricians, that sort of thing. But I do think, as far as grocery goes, and as far as home products and home care goes, I think they could go a long way in doing that. So the Internet of Things, this idea of a refrigerator knowing when you're running low on milk or water or whatever the case may be, is I think that that's really cool stuff, and I hope that's not restricted just to people who have a ridiculous amount of money at their disposable income. I hope that can come to everybody. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is very interesting to see how Amazon is kind of innovating a lot of things to make life more convenient. I mean, some people may feel it's very intrusive, and they have a right to feel that way. I can definitely understand and appreciate where they're coming from with that, but
right.
From my perspective, my point of view, I think it's really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep, me too. Let's see. Last story here that we have, so we can get through this. HTC. So I talked about this. We were talking about this Raw on Monday. So I kind of want to pay homage to you here, man. This is really interesting. The HTC's flagship 1M9 is obviously coming out, but there's been talk of the HTC One E9 Plus. Do you know? Have you ever heard of this device before, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing rumors and kind of leaks about this as well over the last week or so.
It's interesting to me because, I really like the concepts and the stuff that I can see in the link that we have from Android Central. It's a 5.5-inch Quad HD display. I know that kind of drives you a little nuts, but
battery killer.
Yeah, 64-bit octa-core. Yeah, interesting. 20-megapixel rear shooter camera. Kind of interesting. I think HTC. Again, I don't think they're going to be around. I really don't. It's not because I don't like them, and it's not because I don't believe in the people that work there and what they're trying to do. I just think that
they're just all over the place right now.
They are just all over the place right now. And if there's one thing that I've known from supporting things that fail, because I do, you can't do that. You gotta.
If JJ's on board, don't invest your money in that company.
It's true. No, it's absolutely true. That hurts my feelings a little bit. I can say those things about myself, but you're not allowed to. So yeah. I mean, I think that HTC needs to step up. I like this idea of the plastic body that they're kind of going for, because that allows them to do wireless charging. Which is another feature that's not on their flagship device, and another reason not to buy that phone going forward. It's just not. I'm sorry, it's just not the way it is. So
I mean, there's more and more reviews starting to pop out about the One M9 and the new Galaxy devices, but HTC is also rumored to be coming out with the HTC One M9 XL, so a phablet style. There's rumblings about that. We have a feeling that's going to be coming not soon, but probably within the next couple months.
Okay.
Depending on it could also be one of those things that's just available in certain countries and certain areas. So,
right.
We will see more details to come on that.
So let's go ahead and hop into our applications and entertainment picks of the week.
Yes. I'll let you lead off.
Okay. You'll let me lead off because you don't have anything in here.
Stop it.
Transformers 4: Age of Extinction. So, Kevin, the game was a Transformers Battle Tactics.
Yes.
Okay, so that thing kills my battery. Holy cow! But the Transformers 4 Age of Extinction is really cool because I like Bumblebee. I'm a huge fan, and you actually get to start off playing this game as Bumblebee. So that's really really cool. I kind of like this game, Kevin.
I told you.
I kind of like this game. I really do.
It's fun.
Yep. So this is pay to play on Android. I'm sure that there's an iOS version.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's free with in-app purchases, of course.
Right. I like the term pay to play because it kind of brings some reality to it. But whatever.
Yeah, that's true. It's the same. It's the same in the end.
Let's see. Rawl has an April Fool's thing for us. You know how I hate that, but you know how I like you, Rawl. So I'm okay with a little bit of this. So let's do this real quick. April Fool's, HTC announces the RE sock, the smartest socks your feet will never wear. That's hilarious. Oh my God.
Yeah. That is the one thing about April Fools in this time of year is it actually begins on March 31st because you've got Europe and Australia, China, Japan. They're all ahead of here in the United States. So you start getting those wave of fake news stories and stuff like that. It's always tough to tell what's actually real and what's not at this time of year. So you always got to take things today with a grain of salt of what you read on the internet as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We should do an April Fool's thing where we talk crap on all of our listeners, like after the show, since we're going through this through Audacity. That would be funny, but not because most people don't know how to take a joke, and trust me, I'm one of those people. So
right. Yeah. So with an application that I would like to talk about just briefly is Shop Savvy. And that's, you walk into a store, and I've done this numerous times, whether I'm at Micro Center, Walmart, or just anywhere. You always want to know, am I getting the best deal on this particular product that I'm looking at the moment? And I mean, it's just something simple that you can install on Android, iOS. I know there's different versions, and it might even be specifically named on Windows Phone as well. I can't remember. JJ, can you speak on that?
What's that? Sorry, go ahead.
Shop Savvy, QR barcode scanning app that helps you see if you're getting the best deal.
Let me take a look real quick because I have one of those. I just don't remember the name of it. So keep going, and I will.
I mean, you scan the barcode, and then it does a quick little search on the internet, pulls from like Amazon and just different places to see if you're getting the actual good price. You go to like Walmart or Target in the clearance section, you look at something like, ooh man, it looks like a good price, because I mean in store, nice little discount, but you scan the barcode and you find out that's still not even a good price even on clearance. So
all right, so I'm looking it up right now. You said Shop Savvy?
Yeah, Shop Savvy, SAVVY.
Okay, yeah, it is here.
Okay, so it's available on all three platforms. So good. So it's free to download and it's great, but careful, permissions. It uses your camera. So I mean, you always got to throw that out there because a lot of people get bent out. Oh my God, what does it need my camera for? Well,
when he says a lot of people get bent about it, that's me. I get bent about it.
So. And also, I'm still binge watching Breaking Bad. I'm a few episodes away from finishing season 2. Saul,
Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul. He has made his appearance in the show, and God, he seems like he's going to be a very interesting character moving forward. So yes, I have lived under a rock. I'm just now catching up on Breaking Bad, everybody. But it's great. My God, what have I been missing?
What, Breaking Bad?
Yes.
Oh, is it that good? So.
It's that good.
So yeah, I mean, I haven't watched it because, to be quite honest, we live in a part of the country where we kind of live it. So it's like people who watch Jerry Springer are the people who watch Jerry Springer who on the show.
I've actually seen somebody that I know on Springer one time. A girl I went to school with. I'm like, oh my God.
Was she really a man? Because that would be bad.
No, okay. It wasn't. It was
no, of course not, JJ. How dare you?
Like a cheating boyfriend kind of story.
Ah. Ooh, that's not good. I just want to say to all the critics out there, you suck. Because I thought that Marco Polo was amazing, but apparently no one else does or did. It did get renewed for another season, but whatever. Um, I think that it was just a really good show with a bunch of no-name actors, which again, Kevin, you know how I like that. I like these people coming up through the ranks and watching them really tell the story, help tell the story, because you can have a really good story and a bunch of bad actors and then the story nobody even care. But I'm looking forward to when you're done binge watching those shows, Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, that you watch when you watch Marco Polo. I hope that you enjoyed as much as I did, because I'm big fan of those real life history shows instead of
Right.
history.
Yeah. Big. You know me. Big history buff.
Yeah, I think
Really excited.
I think you'd like it though. A lot of culture, a lot of different stuff. It's really cool.
Yep. Yeah. As Daryl says, the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah.
That's another Netflix original that I'm gonna have to get into eventually. Been hearing some good and some bad. The first few episodes I've heard are a little slow. Takes a while to kind of get the show really rolling.
Rolling. All right.
Rolling.
So I'm done. I'm good.
All right. So I think we've got another episode in the books. Everybody have a very safe and happy April the 1st, April Fool's Day. And, we would love to get your feedback. Email contact@thetechinformist.com. Hit us up on Twitter @techinformist. If you're on Facebook and Google Plus, and follow us on Instagram as well, we're there. Just simply search for Tech Informist, and you can again find me on Twitter @Kevin Harvell. You can find JJ Hammond @JJ Hammond Music on Twitter as well. So thank you all for joining us as well in the live chat, and everybody that listens to us afterwards. Thank you as well. We really do appreciate it. Help teespring.com/tech-informist. People that have ordered their shirts would like to get their shirts, so help us all make that happen. So again, consider yourself informed, and until next time, we are out.